I'm going to give you the full code, but I'm going to give you guidance when it comes to mastermind. All right, so mastermind is a game. Let's say you are playing with a certain partner. Let's just say we've got a certain partner over here, and let's just say we are playing, right? So let's just say we are playing. So this person holds four numbers and it's hidden, and then you have to guess. So let's just say you guess it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and this person reveals what they were hiding, and this person has 1, 1, 1, 1. So, what did you get correct? These two are called correct because that the numbers are the same and they're also in the correct position, right? So correct is going to be 1. And then let's just repeat the game. I just want you to understand the full thing. Okay, that's not cool. Let's just do this. Yeah, else it will take time to erase. So let's say the person hides a number again, and let's just say you guessed 1, 2, 1, 1. And okay, fine, let's just remove that. Let's just say 1, 2, 1, 3, right? So the person reveals the code, and let's say it is 2, 3, 1, 4. So how many did you get correct? These ones are correct because they're in the same position and they're correct numbers as well. So correct will be 1, right? So correct. So let's just do this. So correct is just that one, right? So correct is just 1. And then these two are called correctish because you guessed right, but then it is, so you guessed right, but it is in the wrong position. So this is correctish, right? Correctish. Forgive my handwriting there. So now, correctish. And let's see. So you got one correctish, and also this one is correctish, right? So basically, you have two correctish. So correct 1, correctish 2. So that's the rule of the game, right? So that is how it works. Right, so let's do this. So let's talk about the code. Of course, I'm not going to show you the full code, but we know that we have to define this thing called mastermind, right? All right, so I'm just going to give you guidance stuff. So mastermind X and Y. Okay, forgive my handwriting. Okay, of course, you know how it is, the rules of this stuff. All right, so now on the next indentation, I'm obviously not going to explain the code, but I want to explain how you should code it. So let's just imagine numbers, right? Let's just imagine numbers. So let's just do this. So what you have to do is to compare X and Y, right? So you have to code in such a way that if this is equals to this, then correct must be plus or minus 1. You know how it is, right? It counts, right? So for every that is correct, for every rather that is the same in the correct position, correct plus or equals 1. Now, most people can do that one, right? It's very simple. I mean, you just compare the list, and if this is equals to this, you just count. If this is equals to this, you just count, right? But the problem is going to be the correctish part. This is where many people will get it wrong. So, the correctish part, this is my advice. You're going to say, okay, so this is what you'll do. Let me explain the logic first when it comes to correctish. Okay. So let's just do this. Let me try something. Okay, really? Is this really the size? Okay, fine. I don't like it when it's very thick. Okay, so let's do this. Let's say 1, 1, 1. Okay, 1, 1, 1, 2. And let's just say 1, 1. Let's say 3, 2. Okay, matter of fact, let's change it to 4. So for the correctish part, what you will do is that all you have to do is to say the minimum count, right? So it's the minimum count of the two, right? That's what you have to do. So I'll explain something. Yes, I believe you noticed that these ones are also correct. So now notice, correctish, you'll say the minimum. Notice 1 appears, so you'll have to create a code in such a way that it checks the minimum count of the two, right? So here the count of 1, for instance, is 3, and then here the count is 2. So correctish is always the minimum of the two. Yeah, that's the part when it comes to correctish. Unless you do that, you won't get it right. Okay, fine. Maybe I don't know some shortcuts. There might be some shortcuts. Who knows? Yeah, but so far, according to our standard, unless you do that, you won't get it. So here, so what we're going to do is that we're going to check how many times does one appear. So isn't this the first item? So one appears in this thing 3 times and in the other one twice. So we have to take the minimum. So that's what we have to do. And then to avoid it counting one again, because you're just checking how many times does one appear here and how many times does one appear there. Because notice, if it checks one again, we've got a problem. It's going to be this again, and then it's going to be this again. So how do you fix that? So also another thing that can be a blockage to this thing is, unless you use set, you also won't get it. So what you'll do is that you'll just say, for instance, so here it's just, you are just going to say for I in set, right? So for I in set X. Why do I convert it into a set? I convert it to a set because a set will only take unique elements. So then it's going to be 1, 2. Literally, that's going to be the set. That's what a set does. A set only takes unique elements. So then it's going to check, okay, fine. This thing also, I don't think you can loop over it. That's the problem. So you have to convert it into a list so that you can be able to loop over it. I don't think you're able to literally check the set part. So you have to convert it into a set. If you want, you can even convert it into a set first. So let me just break it down. So what you can do is that you can maybe say, for instance, set is equals to set X, right? And then you have to convert it into a list again. So we can even say set again, so it will just update. So list set. So you converted it into a list. So now what you're going to do is that you're going to say for I in Z, right? So it's going to check only the unique elements. So it's going to check how many times does this particular element, okay, not cool. So how many times does this particular element appear here and appear here? That's what you have to do. So you have to create a for loop that will go over only the set, right? And then you should check the unique element. How many times does it appear here and how many times does it appear here? And then you have to count only the minimum of that, right? So for instance, here we see that one appears 3 times, here 1 appears twice. So therefore, correctish must be plus or equals to 2, because 2 is the minimum of X and Y. Yeah. And then it's going to check. Let's just say, but now I believe you already saw the problem, right? Correctish here is the real correctish. There's, let's say, okay, correctish here. Notice that there's no correctish actually, because these two are correct. But now correctish, since these two are correct, we can't count this as correctish. We can't, right? So, for instance, another thing about this game is that if, let's just say you've got something like this. So let's just say something like this. So let's say we've got something like this. So these two are correct, right? Now this one's, yes, it's the correct number but in the wrong position, but you can't count it as correctish unless there was an extra one that was not part of correct. So if there is another one, then you can count it as correctish. But just to cut it short, when you get the minimum of these numbers, you have to subtract correct. So notice correct is 2, right? Because if we code for correct, we'll realize it's 2. And then correctish is the minimum of this 2, which is 3 and 2. The minimum of that is 2. So when you subtract, it's going to be 0. So it's correct. Correctish will be 0. So let me just repeat that part again. So basically what I'm trying to say is that for correctish, you always get the minimum of the appearance on both, right? So for instance, correctish is the minimum. So here, for instance, if we turn this into a set, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 still, or 1, 3, 4, 2, but it's going to probably arrange it in order, right? So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. By the way, when you convert something to a set, it immediately arranges it in order. So let me just see how much minutes I waste there. Okay, fine. So yeah. So it's going to check how many times does 1 appear here and here. So 1 appears once and once. So it has to count only the minimum of that, which is 1, right? So correctish plus or equals to 1. Then it's going to check how many times does 2 appear here and here. Well, here and here, it's 2 and 0, so the minimum is 0, so obvious. And then 3 is 1 here, 0 here, so obvious 0. And then 4 is 1 and then 1. So it's going to be 1. So that's how it is. It must count the minimum of the two, right? But then when you're done, that answer is correctish. That answer that you got is not for correctish still. You have to, the answer for correctish, correctish. So the answer of this is equals to correctish minus correct actually. So this answer that you got minus the ones that appear incorrect. Yeah, so let me just do it one more time in another way. So I'm just trying to give you the logic. So let's just say here we've got 2, 2, 1, 1. And let's say here we've got 1, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. So now notice the minimum count. How many times does 2? Because if we do set x is only going to be the unique elements. It's going to be 1 and 2. So it's going to check how many times does 1 appear here. 1 appears here twice. How many times does it appear here? Once. So the minimum is once. So correctish will be plus or equals to 1. And then 2 appears here twice, here once, so the minimum is once. So correctish again plus or equals to 1. So notice so far we have correctish as 2, right? Correctish as 2. And then let's see any that are correct. Correct, notice here is this part, right? So correct is 1. So the real answer of correctish is 2 minus 1. Right? So the real answer is 1. So you have to code in such a way that it will count the minimum of the two appearance. And then you have to subtract correct. Then that's when you get the code. So you can follow it anyhow, as long as you are counting only sets, so that you're counting the unique elements. And also, as long as you're talking about the minimum appearance of the two, then you will end up getting it right, no matter how you code it. So you can try it out. You can show me your code, and then I will fix it from there. So I'll fix it according to your logic.